There's a word in Korean, 인연. It means providence or fate.
Do you believe in that?
That's just something Koreans say to seduce someone.
What a good story this is. Childhood sweethearts who reconnect 20 years later and realize they were meant for each other. In the story, I would be the evil white American husband standing in the way of destiny.
Shut up. He was just this kid in my head for such a long time. I think I just missed him.
Did he miss you?
혜성! 와, 너다.
와, 진짜 와다. 와.
Not really sure how to feel about it, son. And the way you move makes me feel like I can't
좋다.
live without you.
뭐가?
그냥
너랑
너랑 얘기하는 거?
The guy flew 13 hours to be here. I'm not gonna tell you that you can't see him or something.
Aloha! This is Trinidad the Island Man, your Island Man, coming to you live once again from beautiful Hawaii here on the island of Oahu, bringing you, yes you, the best movie reviews on the entire island of Oahu. And yes, this is Trinidad the Island Man, your Island Man. And today, Sunday, Sunday. See, I'm still on the holiday weekend in my mind. Still on the holiday weekend in my mind. It is the 4th of July, Tuesday of the holiday weekend here in the United States, Independence Day. And I went ahead and I saw one of the new movies that had come out recently. Not an American movie, a Korean movie called Past Lives. And remember our rating scale, shock a thumbs up, it's good to see, I recommend it. Shock a thumbs down, it's junk, I don't recommend it. And for Past Lives, a new Korean romantic drama, it is overall a shock a thumbs up. And well, what can I say about this movie other than the fact that it is a shock a thumbs up? I was very, very impressed with this movie. I really didn't know exactly what to expect out of it. I had seen the trailers, watching some other films. Actually, Instagram and even some YouTube, there had been some trailers for it. You know, a lot of people on Instagram were saying that this is a really good movie. And it is. Basically, this is the story of two children, a boy and a girl, around 12 years old in Korea, who, go to school and are very fond of one another and most likely would have gotten together if the girl and her family did not immigrate to Canada, and later on her to the United States. Well, the boy remains in Korea, Seoul, I believe, South Korea. And basically, after 12 years, they're in their 20s, about 24, I guess, he reaches out to her on Facebook. And they start up a long distance kind of, acquaintance once again, talking about the old times when they were kids. And, basically she ends up breaking it off because those feelings come back. And where they're at in their lives, in their 20s, her visiting New York from Canada, him still in Seoul, getting prepared, going to college, getting prepared to go study Chinese in China. There's no way for the two of them to get back together. And that is what this long distance, Skype calls, telephone calls, emails is, kind of pushing them to do. They both have these feelings from when they were fond of each other as children, rekindling, reigniting, but yet there's nothing that they can do about it. She can't go to Korea. He can't come to New York. There's so much more that she wants to do in her life, which is why she's in New York, going to a writer's retreat, etc. She still has her entire career to look forward to, and him very much the same with his schoolwork. So 12 more years later, 20 years, about 24 years since they were children, and they had once, grown apart, he decides to come visit her in the United States. And by now she's married to an American, living in New York, and once they visit, all those feelings resurface between the two of them. Actually resurface within her, because they've never really left him, which is why he had reached out, 12 years ago to reconnect with her. And once again, 12 years after that. So what you have here is a wonderful, dramatic, romantic movie between not just these two Korean, native Koreans, North Koreans, but also her husband as well, her American husband, who, if this movie had been an American movie, there would have been some jealous play. The two probably would have slept together. The two South Korean people would have rekindled their romance or ignited a new romance and slept with each other, and then you'd have this lover's triangle, and it's like, oh, is it going to be divorce or etc.? Is she going to leave her husband, her American husband, etc.? None of that happens, thankfully, because this is a South Korean movie, and it is very kind and thoughtful as to, the feelings that they had were children. They both explore this, and it talks about things such as their, and their happiness that she is married now to this American and truly does love him, and he, her, and talks about the Korean idea of inyon, basically fate between two people that, basically two people who have just met or passed by one another have some type of feelings that they had known each other in past lives, and maybe over 8,000 times of past lives, they have always been around each other, and you have some kind of familiarity with them, to be with them. The young Korean man, he understands that although he had it 12 years ago with this woman, she and her American husband now have that inyon, and now is not their time. Perhaps in another lifetime they might get together once more and actually finally be together. But this present life, it is not theirs to have, but hers and her American husband's. Very, very intriguing topics, very well done. Again, if an American director, if this had turned in, if this continues to be such a international success, I say, America, don't muck this up when you decide to make an American version of this. Just keep the story as it is. I know maybe for Americans it's a little boring. What do you mean there's no romantic rivalry and they don't sleep together? It's all for the feels. And I've certainly felt that way with people I've met in the past, even old friends that I've lived here in Hawaii, and it's been decades since I've seen some friends in Colorado that I had the chance to see not too long ago, you know, a few years back. And we talked and talked about the old times, but it wasn't there to rekindle a brand new friendship. So I can completely understand and, you know, relate to this movie, you know, on the friendship aspect, and additionally, you know, maybe on the romantic aspect of it as well. Whereas, you know, in the past, you know, I have kind of felt some kind of connection. Or maybe, you know, maybe it's just you wishing there was a romantic connection between you and someone you had just met, or someone you feel close to for some reason. There was a person in Korea, a woman, when I lived there, that days before leaving, you know, and never returning to Korea, I met somebody on the bus, and I was very taken by her. And she was very kind, and if I had met her there sooner, before a few days before leaving, who knows what would have happened. And that's what this kind of movie is all about. And this is the questions that they ask. It's like, well, if you had never left, if you had stayed in Korea, would we have gotten together, is what, you know, they ask one another. And it's like, well, you know, don't know. You know, one can't say. But definitely what I can say is check out Past Lives, a wonderful South Korean movie, and you will not be disappointed by it at all. In a summer of fizzling American box office movies, check out this South Korean import, and you'll be very happy. All right, mahalo and aloha.